Lots of my students ask me, what other sites can we use to learn German, practice German, improve our German, keep up with our German? And Quora is one of them. If you already use Quora, then you don't really need this video because you also know how to use it and where to find things about learning German. So this video really is for those people who've maybe heard of Quora, maybe because I've mentioned it, but they've never used it. So how do you use it? Well, if you search for Quora.com, you get to this page, a place to share knowledge and better understand the world. Lovely picture, but you can't read anything because you need to register. And you can either do that with your email and password, or you can just register with Google or Facebook. The nice thing if you do that, for example, if you join with Facebook, it will tell you any of your friends that are already on there, which means you can follow them. That will make it a little bit easier to get started, because the one thing I find a bit confusing is where to find the topics, because you're obviously not interested in everything. But this is how you start off, so it's really easy, and you can already see there, Suchst du Quora auf Deutsch, because that is the new site. It's only been there for a few months. It's very small. It's the little baby brother or sister of Quora in English, Quora.com, but it is there. And again, that's very useful for reading posts in German, even if you don't want to ask questions or answer. Now, I'm already registered with it, so I can't really join now. So I've opened up my own page. Now, this is the page on Quora, my page really. When you join, you can put a picture of yourself on there. You can fill in a bit of information about yourself, but you don't have to. I have, because I do answer a lot of questions, and if anybody's interested in what I do, well, I would be silly if I didn't put my website on there and anything else I do. Well, it's a good place to do a bit of advertising. But you don't have to. And by following people that I already knew, and by other people gradually, I've now following 149 people, 174 people follow me, which means whenever one of my friends answers a question, it comes up in my feed and I can read it or I can ignore it. And gradually you can come to topics. Now, you get asked which topics you know about. Now, obviously, the topics you know about, they're not necessarily the ones that you want to find out questions. So if you wanted to find out something about German, so you type in German, and there we are, we get some topics coming up straight away. Look at that, even my website comes up, although nobody's ever asked a question about it. So don't bother following that one at the moment. But let's go to German grammar. So you tick on that. And you get the choice of following it. And if you follow the topics, then if new questions come up, then they will be visible to you. Now, at the moment, there's only one here that I haven't seen yet. It's a new question for me. When does one use Mann instead of Männer in plural? And at the moment, there's only one person who's answered that question by the looks of it. So if I wanted to, I could answer as well. Oh no, there's lots of answers. Ah, well, there we are. That person has had plenty of answers. But once you get a question, you can see at the top here, there are various topics that you could follow. See, I'm following German language, I'm following German grammar, and then there are questions on the side which Quora thinks are related questions, and most of them are. So you see another one and you think, oh, I'll have a look at that one. There is also a read button at the top, which sort of gives you some top stories where Quora thinks you may be interested in them. Sometimes I don't read all of them. Sometimes it's what friends answer. But the really good thing is when you go to the topics that you're interested. Now, learning languages. This is languages in general. There may be things in there about German, but there are general questions about languages. Why am I unable to learn foreign languages? That's an interesting question, isn't it? What do you think of people speaking foreign languages in public? So you can imagine that could be, well, this one has been upvoted 311 times. That first answer, so there's probably going to be quite a few answers. So you find an interesting question and you just read the answers and enjoy them, and if you like it you can upvote them. You can downvote them as well if you think that's a wrong answer or a rubbish answer or a rude answer or anything like this. So you'll find questions by actually ask or search Quora. Put a question in there that you're interested in and you see if it comes up, and if it doesn't come up, feel brave enough and ask the question yourself. There are bound to be people who will answer you. And at the top here, so you've got your read, that's where some of the questions come up that have been going on. Answer, this is, now I've got a 1 there, which means somebody's actually asked a question and they would like me to answer it. Plus other people. That happens when you start giving answers on certain topics, and then people can actually request certain people to answer. What's this one then? Is it useful to learn German independently for a person who knows English and Spanish? So that's a new question that's just been asked, and I now have the choice of I can ignore it, I can answer later, I can answer, or I can pass. Sometimes I get asked questions where I don't know the answer, so I just pass. Notifications, this is when something of interest comes up for you, if your answers have been seen or if you have a question and they have been answered. And then next to it, that's your profile, any messages you might get, your content, your stats. Obviously in the beginning there won't be anything, but if you start answering and asking questions, you will get some stats as well. And once you have joined the German one, that's this one here, you can just switch over. So at the moment I'm on the English side, and that means all the questions and answers have to be in English. Of course, they contain German sentences if you ask a question about something in German, but the question is in English. So if you wanted to know something about German grammar, you can read the question in English and you read the answers in English. Now on the German side, which is still very new, as I said, everything is in German. All the questions are in German and the answers have to be in German as well. So this is a good way to practice reading some more German. And again, it's your choice if you want to get joined in or not. Now here's an interesting question. Siezen oder duzen in Quora auf Deutsch? I could imagine there will be quite a few questions already. Answers, sorry, not questions. 1, 2, 3, there's a few there. So if you wanted to know whether people use du or sie on Quora, you could look at that question and then read the answers. And again, if you think that's a really good answer, I like that one, then you upvote it, or in German it's positiv bewerten. If you wanted to downvote it, negativ bewerten. You can leave a comment to an answer already, or you can give your own answer by antworten, but bearing in mind that has to be in German. And there aren't that many topics yet, but again, ähnliche Fragen, so similar questions that you can find. It seems a bit, to me at least, it seems a little bit untidy to start off with, but you get used to it pretty quickly. So if you don't expect important questions and answers or expect to know your way around straight away, I would suggest join the English one. Just have fun looking at questions and answers. See if you can find any questions that you've already had about learning German. and maybe start answering as well. And of course there are lots of other questions as well. It's not just learning German, so you may find topics that are unrelated to language learning that you're really interested in. You may even see some of my answers. And then go and join the German one and start reading the German answers, and when you're ready, even answer them. I'm sure this is an easy way to spend a couple of minutes or a few more or an hour or so online doing something interesting and learning German at the same time. Is there a better way? Enjoy.